everyone, welcome to another episode of The Walk. My name's Gareth, I'm joined by Phil, I'm joined by Andy, and we are at a place called Rudyard Lake, which is in Staffordshire. We're here to look at the abandoned remains of a stately home with a slightly sinister past. Now normally, when there's some dark history involved, you have to go way back to dig up those bones. But with this one, the sinister goings on were fairly recently. So there's Rudyard Lake down in the valley, beautiful, a reservoir, man-made reservoir. I don't look like it though, to be fair. And then here we go. This would have been the gated entrance to what? We're disputing the name a little bit, aren't we?
Well, it's because it's had so many different owners. Well, not so many different owners, but it's back and forth.
So it's been known as Rudyard Castle, even though it's not really a castle.
Well,
modern crap name.
No, it's not. It's because you can call anything a castle if you crenulate it.
Fair enough.
That's what that is on the top.
Even my house?
Yes, if you crenulate it.
Is that how it works?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right. Well, let's go in and have a little look then. So the other name that it's called is Cliff Park Hall, because this area I think is known as Cliff Park, but it was originally Rudyard, so I don't know. I'm going to call it Rudyard Castle just because it annoys Phil. Okay, so despite the, what was the word you used, Andy?
Crenulation.
Despite the crenulation, this was built in 1811, so it's not a castle built for any kind of invasion or anything like that, by a guy called John Howarth. And what was he famous for, Andy?
Wedgwood property from Stoke, you know, the pottery, all the pottery makers and stuff.
That's where he made his money?
That's where he made his money.
So he built this as a very fancy pad. Now when John died, he left this property to his cousin, his much younger cousin and lover, a lady by the name of Fanny Bostock. I know what you're thinking, cousin and lover. I ain't judging.
Well,
if it's good enough for the royals, I ain't judging. Mate, what a grand entrance that is then. Look at that. That is awesome.
So they can pull the carriage underneath, get out and not get wet.
Or to the side,
Yeah.
narrow.
Well, if they pulled it to the side, they're still going to get wet, Phil.
No, they're going inside, but it's wide enough for a horse and carriage. True.
Yeah. Look at this.
So you can get down, open the door.
Bosh, you're in. Bob's your uncle.
You're not getting that poor people's rain on you.
No. So, Fanny Bostock lived here for many years after John Howarth had died. And actually, when the railway came along, because there's a railway, or there was a railway at the bottom of that valley there, on the other side of the lake, in 1849, she wasn't happy about it because this whole area was private and actually you could only go down to the lake if you were a local landowner, which of course she was because she'd been given this land. So she fought the North Staffordshire Railway for about 10 years to stop them making this a tourist attraction, basically. So straight away, we're inside and look at that epic fireplace. Mate, that arguably be worth some money, wouldn't it? Maybe not in that state, but...
Bit of missing muscle on it.
Look at that. Right, I'll follow you then, Phil.
Okay.
You're the canary down the mine. It's seen better days, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go to the staircase first, because it's really nice.
Okay. Wow, Yoda's been here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, mate.
Nice skyline.
That's incredible. So, after Fanny Bostock died in the 1850s, this whole place was split up, basically. The whole land was split up because she didn't have an heir, she didn't have any children. And then, as a bit of an adding to insult to injury, really, the North Staffordshire Railway actually bought the whole place, I'm guessing, basically to stop any kind of people moving in and trying to cause trouble again with them. Bringing so many tourists to the region, because actually at one point they brought in 1913, they brought in 88 trains to the bottom of that valley in one day, 20,000 people, absolutely insane. So what the North Staffordshire Railway did is they turned this into a youth hostel, and it was a youth hostel for years and years. So I'm wondering if there's any remains we can see. Mate, that's a 4-poster bed. David White. That's a 4-poster bed. Wow. Yeah, I'm hoping there might be some remains of the time that it was a youth hostel, because it was a youth hostel for a very long time. And then different railway companies came along. They tried to turn it into a fancy golf club. That didn't work at all. And then in the end, British Rail didn't really want anything to do with it. So it became a youth hostel again. Now, when it was a youth... Oh my goodness, okay, I'm gonna not go in there. When it was a youth hostel, in 1936, George Orwell actually stayed here, and he used this as a bit of a base while he was researching the way to Wigan Pier. Now what I'm getting now is I'm getting my phone out, reason why, so I can read a little piece from George Orwell's diary where he wrote about coming here. Now this is what he said: found hostel about 1 mile further on with difficulty, alone again. He writes in a weird way, but who am I to tell Orwell how to write? A great draughty barrack of a house. Again, the most peculiar place this is. Built in a sham castle style, somebody's folly, about 1860. It was actually built in 1811, George, so come on, mate, get your facts right. All of these 3 or 4 rooms quite empty, miles of echoing stone passages. I mean, they're echoing now, aren't they, as I'm reading it. No lighting except candles and only smoky little oil stones to cook on, terribly cold. I mean, if that's a TripAdvisor review of the hostel, do you know what I mean? It's not getting many visitors. So we'll come through to the main room now. Ah, there's the other room where I was looking with that 4-poster bed, look.
Yeah, mate. Your living room, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mirrored. Wow, mate. Now this place, believe it or not, given how dilapidated it is, has only actually been abandoned since 2014. So it's only been abandoned for 10 years. Now that's where the sinister history comes in. So in this room, the owner, a guy by the name of Brian Daly, or Brian Daly, he was tied up by robbers. Now he bought this place in the late 1960s. I'm guessing when the railway closed and therefore the railway company didn't need to own this anymore. They sold it off. And he lived here. Now, if you just look at the drone footage from the area, you can see how remote we are. So some robbers basically targeted him as a result of that. He didn't have very good security, if any. And they tied him up in this room. And as I understand it, Phil, did they beat him and torture him?
Yeah, his towels, wasn't it?
And they whacked his dog as well.
Yeah, they knocked his... Because he had a dog, so they beat his dog till it was obviously gone. Tied him up in a chair, tortured him, because they thought that because he lived here he'd have a lot of money and things, but he didn't really have any. So
he was property rich, but not cash rich, basically.
He gathered property, not money. His wealth was,
He had lots of antiques.
Antiques. It was antiques he collected. Yeah.
But they stole his own van to load. They loaded his own. He had a van, and they actually loaded it up with all the things from the house, suits of armour and things like that.
But the way that he escaped, if it's led to believe what you read, is he broke a glass with his mouth, and smashed it, and he used a shard of glass to saw through his bonds.
Mate, wow.
Raised the alarm after he found civilization, which is obviously not on 5 or 10 minutes or whatever.
Oh, mate, that's horrendous. He actually died a year later as well, and I can understand why. Do you know what I mean? That mental torment. Honestly, the things people do to each other, it never ceases to amaze me, and not in a good way. And there you go. Now, part of me kind of wants to go upstairs, guys, but now I'm thinking I'm not sure how wise that is, because these don't look like they're in particularly great nick, and I don't fancy coming down through the roof, to be honest. Have you been up the stairs, Phil?
I have before, yeah.
Alright, well, let's go and have a look then. See, that's what's crazy, isn't it? Like, I heard you say this before, Andy, the fact that we're in an old house and then you've got like a 1980s shower room. Oh, mate, it would have been beautiful back in the day though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, I feel so sorry for that bloke. Because he wouldn't have been a young man at all, would he?
I think he was in his 70s.
Mate. lived your life, worked hard, and someone just comes along and decides they're going to help themselves.
He had no insurance either. He had nothing.
So that's not the actions of a wealthy man, is it?
No, he got no insurance and he got no pension because he thought all his antiques were his pension. Obviously they took it all, so he died penniless.
Did they catch who done it?
They did.
Right, well that's a bonus.
They did.
Right, well I hope they threw the book at them.
Here's your perils of going to these places.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Near that. Look at the state of that.
Oh, mate.
How's that fell through?
It is mad to think, I mean, to saying that, I don't know what shape it was in before, but the fact that 10 years after someone lived in here, it's already to the point where it's condemnable.
This is as if it was back in the 1970s.
Yeah, easily. It's just insane. I mean, I'm just not going to risk it, guys. I've got kids, do you know what I mean? But, wow. Unbelievable. I mean, these are hello modern energy-saving light bulbs. They look so out of place. Mate. Oh, well, that's good to know. No idea what that. All right, Flynn. Oh, Jesus. So what an incredible place. Rudyard Castle. Or Cliff Park Hall, depending, you know, different names, but mate, you're brave coming in here, mate. Look at the fireplace. I can actually feel the floor bowing underneath me, so. But what a place it would have been. You know when John Howarth, the guy that built it, 1811, the lake down there, mate, incredible. What's in there, Andy?
Just another bedroom and missing floors.
Right, okay. Mate, it's crazy.
You see the fireplace in this room, but that room's got a radiator in it.
God, those radiators are worth money now as well, aren't they? What were you saying then, Phil? I heard you talking about a kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Got some old-fashioned, well, no, it's not a retro, but it's got tractors and...
Yeah, but they're old ones.
I don't know, they are. They're retro style. Maybe he had relatively young grandchildren or something.
Yeah, well, he bought it in the late 60s, so that could be like early 80s maybe. Maybe it's his grandkids.
Yeah, maybe so. Not so good down here though.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, mate.
I think this is your limitation on here.
Yeah.
Where they've gone.
Mate, I can actually feel the step bowing underneath my foot.
Well,
I ain't going any further. I weigh more than all of you.
Mate, I wouldn't go down there. I mean, that's it's airy. That's what they'd say on Rightmove. No idea what's going on in half these. It's enormous. So that's us. A little bit different. That one, guys.
Defo.
I enjoyed it. A little bit spicy in there at times. Also, a really horrible story about the former owner. That's just horrendous. It's a beautiful building, but I think it's beyond repair, guys, isn't it? I can't see it.
Worse inside than it is outside.
Yeah.
I can tell you
It's
that.
pretty much just a shell now, isn't it?
It really is. But the location and everything is just fantastic. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Cheers.